When I think about the Grand Canyon, I think of hot desert and desolation. And so as I prepared for my first trip where we were staying there several days, I was a little nervous about food availability. But today I'm going to show to you that it's actually an oasis of food. You are not going to starve when you go to the Grand Canyon. To get started, I want to just give you a quick layout of the Grand Canyon. On the south rim, it's actually a small area, 13 square miles. So all the buildings, all the services are pretty condensed in there. There's also the town of Tusayan right below it. It's about 12-minute drive, and so that's another place of availability. If you work your way west to east, on the very far west is the Hermit's Rest, and there's actually a little restaurant there. Then you're going to hit the Grand Canyon Village area where Bright Angel is and El Tovar. As you proceed heading east, you're next going to hit the Visitor Center. And then if you continue to drive out to Desert Road, it's about 28 miles east, there's another little area of services. So that whole area right there. Also, right in the middle of that is the Market Plaza, and that's where there's a lot of services. I want to break this down by the types of food available, okay? We've got stores, counter service and coffee shops, and then fine dining. So let's get started. There is a general store right in the Market Plaza. Just like most general stores in a national park, about half of it's going to be souvenir merchandise, but the other half will be like fruit, liquor, sandwiches, things like that. Now at this time of the filming, things are opened up from COVID. However, the staffing has not recovered. I'm sure if you've done any traveling at this time, and you even around home at your local Chili's, sometimes they won't seat you because there's not enough cooks or enough waiters, and the national parks have really struggled with that this year. And so I'm going to list a bunch of restaurants and places you can go. Even though some of them aren't open right now, I have confidence they will as they're able to staff them. So general store open. Also, if you travel east down to the Desert Road, there's also a general store there, but that one is currently closed due to staffing issues. Now let's talk about counter service. The number one recommended one after I looked at all the reviews was the one at Bright Angel Bikes and Cafe. This is not actually at Bright Angel Lodge. It is actually at the Visitor Center, but their claim to fame is just their very homegrown, natural food that they serve there. They serve sandwiches, things like that to take with you as you go hike and explore the park. At Mather Point Visitor Center, there is also a grab and go counter, but that is currently closed. Next we have the village area, and the first one is the Bright Angel Fountain. Bright Angel Fountain serves more than drinks. They also serve lunches. A lunch will run you around $11 for a sandwich and chips, or you can purchase ice cream for around $5. They also have a coffee shop there, which is open until about 11, and they serve stuff a coffee shop would, breakfast things, coffee, you know. This is kind of an interesting concept that is new to me this year, but there is actually an El Tovar food truck that parks between El Tovar Hotel and the Hopi House. And this place was happening when we were at the Grand Canyon. There was a big line outside that food truck, and they really just serve hot dogs and burritos. It's going to cost you around $5, but it was pretty popular. People were grabbing their food truck stuff just like they would in the city. So that was kind of fun to see. If you take the shuttle from the Bright Angel area all the way out west to the Hermit's Rest, there is actually a counter service restaurant there. This was the one that completely blew me away because it's quite a shuttle ride out there, and then you have to hike down for a little bit until you get to this Hermit's Rest store. But in that store, there's of course merchandise. There's a really cool fireplace there. And you look off to the right, and they are serving sandwiches and ice cream right there at the counter. That was the last place I would have expected there to be food, but there was. So if you're on a little day excursion, know you can get some food at the end of that. If you head south just a little bit more towards the campgrounds, there is Yavapai. There's the Yavapai area, and at the Yavapai area there's a lounge, there's a restaurant, and a tavern, I believe. It's all in one area, and that was a pretty happening place too. When we drive by at night, they only have outdoor seating available, but there was a big line and a lot of people outside. It looked like lots of fun, pretty area, but they don't have their full-on restaurant going because of the staffing shortage. Also at Maswick Lodge, they have a food court, and you can get pizza there. So lots and lots of counter service restaurants. If you like to go to more chain-like restaurants, you could head south to Tusayan. Remember, 12-minute drive. Head south to Tusayan. I saw a Pizza Hut there. They have a Wendy's there. And what we chose to get there was we went to the Grand Canyon chocolate factory, and they had all sorts of yummy food there, like carameled apples, chocolates, and gelato. So that was kind of a fun thing that we went and did. Okay. Now, after explaining all these restaurants to you, counter service and the general stores, I want to tell you my own personal recommendation. And that is, if you can pack your own picnic lunches and breakfast, do it. I really don't feel like you're getting a good quality of food, and it's kind of a hassle to stop in the middle of your day and go try to get in line in a counter service restaurant or a food truck or pay those big prices at those general stores. So I highly suggest bringing a cooler with you, sticking some stuff in it, and just going from there. However, that doesn't mean I don't think you should eat at the Grand Canyon, because now I'm moving on to dining experiences I think you should have. I'm also going to ask you, please give this video a like and a comment. Is this helpful to you? Would you like to see us make some other videos on where to get food on the other locations we travel? And also, if you're looking for a good cooler or any of our favorite gear, check out the video up here. I just made a whole gear guide of things you should bring. Anyway, yes, I would love to hear your favorite places to eat at the Grand Canyon and whether or not you'd like to see more videos like this. Okay, moving on to the dining that I do suggest. There is some really good dining in the national parks, and Grand Canyon is like the granddaddy of the good dining. We did make reservations at a couple of the restaurants, and it was a really great experience, and I would recommend it. The first one I want to talk to you about is the Arizona Steakhouse. It is in the Bright Angel Lodge, and right now it is currently closed. We weren't able to eat there, also closed because of staffing issues. But they serve lunch and dinner. They kind of specialize in barbecue meats, things like that. Lunch will cost you between $15 and $30, and dinner between $20 and $40. They do accept walk-ups, but they also accept reservations. Now let's talk about the two that we did eat at. The first one was Fred Harvey Burger. Fred Harvey was the first concessionaire at the Grand Canyon, and his company actually is Xanterra now, that runs a lot of the national parks concessions, including Fred Harvey Burger. Now there's a Fred Harvey Burger and a Fred Harvey Tavern at the Grand Canyon, and currently the Fred Harvey Burger is closed, but the Fred Harvey Tavern is open, and they serve the food that Fred Harvey Burger would serve. So we made a reservation a couple weeks in advance and got a lunch reservation there, and it was delicious. We loved our experience. The Fred Harvey Burger was super great. They had jalapenos on it, onion straws. Loved it. I ordered a spinach salad, which was kind of had some kick to it. It had spiced pecans and smoky ranch, you know, the hard-boiled egg, the bacon, and then some craisins on it, which I thought was kind of a different mix in that spinach salad. And the kids' meals were really reasonably priced. Our kids loved it. We loved the chips and salsa. I highly recommend that, and it's just nice to get out of the heat, get in some AC, get some icy water. It was a great experience. The next one is dining at El Tovar Hotel. El Tovar is probably the most famous restaurant at the Grand Canyon, and I can see why. It is gorgeous in there, beautiful views in the restaurant. The trick with El Tovar is you have to have a reservation to eat lunch or dinner there. You can make your reservation online at the National Parks website 30 days before your trip. That's when they'll open those up. But they open those reservations up before 30 days to guests of the El Tovar Hotel, and so it's kind of a gamble whether or not you can get one if you're not staying there. But a little trick is that if you cannot get a reservation, you don't need a reservation for breakfast. They only do walk-ups for that. And the El Tovar breakfast is delicious. If you hit the lobby maybe 30 minutes before the restaurant opens and get in line, you can get a table, and it was a fantastic dining experience. We loved it. You know, they have, it's fancier. They have their white tablecloths, their dinnerware is so pretty, and they have some really fun things on their menu for breakfast. Some of our favorites were the pancake trio, where they had the cornmeal, buckwheat, and buttermilk pancakes with prickly pear syrup, which is a desert cactus they made into syrup. So fun. My teenage son absolutely loved their sausage. I ordered the huevos rancheros, which was a daily special. It was so good. I absolutely loved that. And another family favorite was the brioche French toast. So lots and lots of yummy things to eat for breakfast, and the prices were not too different than what breakfast would be in the park at other places. For lunch, their prices are actually fairly reasonable too. You can get a burger for around $15, which is, when you compare that to the boxed lunch at Bread Angel Lodge for $11, it's not that big of a difference, and you get to sit inside for a little bit. Dinners can run you up to $50 there, and they do look delicious, but we didn't eat there for dinner. We ate there for breakfast. The last restaurant that just completely surprised me is that they have a restaurant at the bottom of the Grand Canyon at Phantom Ranch. People love the food there, and it's just incredible to me that mules haul the food down there and then haul the trash out, and people that travel down there can eat there. And my little brother that loves to run rim to rim says they have some kickin' lemonade for $7 as well. There you have it. If you are planning on visiting the Grand Canyon, we have an entire video about planning your entire trip to the Grand Canyon, where to stay, how long to stay, what time of year, what best sights to see, all of that stuff. Really helpful stuff if you're visiting the Grand Canyon. I encourage you to check that video out. We also have trip planners and audio guides on our website. We're in the Rockies. I hope you find something yummy to eat, and thanks for watching.